What up, Welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking out the trash. We're getting rid of books that I don't want anymore. We are doing a book unhaul. Book unhaul, book unhaul, book unhaul. It's springtime, which means I gotta get rid of everything. Get rid of the books I don't like, get rid of unused bookmarks, get rid of people who hate on you for reading, get rid of all your money by going book shopping. Wait, I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. I went through my shelves the other day and picked out some books that just don't need to be in my collection. And today I'm gonna be sharing with you the books that I'm gonna be eating off my bookshelf. To be honest, I don't have too many books that need yeetin', but I feel like that's a good thing. That means I've been keeping my collection pretty balanced. I deserve a reward. Book shopping, anybody? I've got a collection of books that I love and books that I haven't read yet. Before we get to the unhaul though, today's video has a sponsor. Today's video is being sponsored by PANGOBOOKS. If you don't know anything about PANGOBOOKS, you're gonna wanna know all there is to know about it. It's both a great place to buy books and a great place to sell books. A win-win situation. You can sell some books and turn right around and buy some books. What's better than that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's no arguing here. It's the best! Books have been getting pricey these days, and PANGOBOOKS is a great way to get your hands on books at an affordable price. Even now when I just logged onto the app to look at my feed, there's a hardback edition of The Love Hypothesis, a very popular book, for only $10. Spin the Dawn for only $5. Gallant, a new freaking release, for only $8. Hello. If that doesn't have you running to your app store, I don't know what will. If you're a book collector like me, you're constantly having books come into your collection and books leaving your collection. Whether you're buying books each month or reading out books from your collection, PANGOBOOKS is a great way to both grow your collection and sell the books that you're not interested in anymore. It's super user-friendly in both buying and selling books. All you have to do to sell a book is to snap a photo of the book, scan the barcode, and create a listing. On the flip side, book buying. Search up a book, find the book you want, add it to your cart, and boom, your TBR has leveled up, and your book lover heart is full. The app allows you to follow different shops so you can see when a store has updated their listings, and the app also sends out coupon codes on the regular, helping make the cheap books even cheaper. Speaking of coupon codes, PANGOBOOKS hooked us up with our own coupon code. You can use the code Jesse5 to get $5 off your next order. $5 whole. PANGOBOOKS is available on iOS and Android, so be sure to download it and get to book shopping and book selling. I'll leave a link to the app down below in the description. Now, it's time to unhaul some books. I've got 6 books I'm getting rid of today, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. I know. But again, I'm at a pretty balanced place with my book collection. Let's get started. The first book I'm getting rid of is The Maidens. This story follows our main character, Mariana, who is convinced that this professor at Cambridge University is a killer. And she will do anything to uncover the truth. But the professor is adored by all, from the staff, the students, even the maidens, which is a secret society of female students. When one of the maidens ends up dead, Mariana is ready to expose the professor as a murderer. This is a book that I just will not miss. Every time I look at it, every time it catches my eyes, I'm like, no, but every time I look at it, I'm just thrust back to the time of reading it and the torture of a reading experience that it was, because that's what it was. Torturous! There are a plethora of reasons as to why this book didn't work for me. The main character is a full-on mess. She really romanticized the idea of being a detective and just fought the good fight until she found justice, but the way she went about it was just a bit much. Just because you think you know all there is to know about being a detective does not mean you really know how to be a detective and figure things out. Part of me while reading it was okay, sure, go off, do the dang thing. But the other part of me was just you're annoying. I just had a hard time following her around throughout the story because she was just really high up on her horse. And all the decisions that she made aggravated me. And she had zero empathy. Her empathy tank was at 0. In general though, let's be real here. Going into this one, I knew this concept was just probably not gonna be it for me. I went into it being I'm gonna be shocked if I end up enjoying this. It was doomed from the start. Doomed, I tell you. Doomed! I mean, it's mostly about a group of girls fawning over this professor and doing anything he says, and if that doesn't give you the ick, then we are two very different types of people. This one is also considered dark academia, but it's just not it. It's at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of dark academia, in my opinion. I do want to talk about one positive thing at least. I liked the atmosphere. That's the one thing where I came out of this book being okay, you did one thing right. You got the atmosphere down. I applaud you. At least it nailed that. At least I have one positive thing to talk about. But it's time to yeet you out of my collection. Next, I'm getting rid of, To Paradise. This book is a frickin' brick. A frickin' brick! To Paradise is essentially 3 books within one book. All books are set in the same place, but in different time periods. From 1893 to 1993 to 2093. If you watch my vlog, then you know how I felt about this book. You know. It's unnecessarily long. I mean, it's literally made up of 3 books within one book. It had this thing going for it where you just feel like it's being built up to this massive thing. You're okay, here we go. We've got all these different things tying different things together. We've got names that are the same that are popping up in each story. They're all set in the same place, where are we going? We're going somewhere big! It's gonna blow! And you know what it did at the end? Nothing. Nothing was tied together. They were kind of tied together through themes, I guess. I'll give it that. Like, there are themes that, like, run through all of them, like love and grief and other stuff, but it does nothing. By the end of it, it's just completely flat, and you're just like, I put in all this work, and you're what? Hello? Like, you molded the clay, put it in the kiln, and when you go to get it out, you see that it's just completely shattered. That's literally how I felt with this book. It drifted into a place where I didn't want it to go, and maybe that's on me. Maybe I had these expectations, and I should have dropped the expectations off at daycare and just moved on with my life, but I just couldn't do that. Like, I really just felt like we were gonna have this, like, really, really big epic finale, and no. I did like the writing style. I did like the themes it explored. I liked the theme of love and grief. I even marked a quote about grief, and I'm upset that I did this because now I'm getting rid of this book, and there's just gonna be this highlighted mark in here, but whoever gets this book will enjoy a little highlight from me, I guess. I don't know. And another thing that I really enjoyed about the book was the characters. Like, the way that the characters were built up was done in a really great way. You really get to know them by the end of the book. Even though, like, nothing too much is happening in the stories, at least the characters were, like, interesting to read about. You gotta go, go, go. The next one leaving me is The Midnight Library. This story is about a library between life and death that gives you a chance to try another life that you could have lived. We follow our main character who ends up in the library and begins trying out alternate lives. Now, I know that there are a lot of people that hold this book close to their hearts, and there is no shame in that game. Keep loving this book. Keep doing your thing. I know that this book helped a lot of people on their mental health journey, and I'm not going to sit here and discredit its impact. I recognize it. It just was not my cup of tea. I went to take a sip, and it was bitter as ever. The realization, too, that this book was not going to be for me was almost instant. The alarm bells were ringing, red flags are flying, emergency lights were going off, and I should have known. I should have trusted myself. Note to self. Trust yourself. Noted. I just felt like this book needed some work, and it could have easily, like, become a favorite had it just, like, had a few adjustments. One thing that I couldn't help but just be aware of throughout the whole book was just how pushy it was with the messages that it was trying to send. Rather than it just being like a natural integration, it ended up just feeling like very self-helpy. Like, I did not pick this book up as a self-help book. I picked this book up just being like, this is a fictional story that I want to read. You can't tell me the librarian in this book didn't just like absorb a bunch of self-help books and memorize all these lines and then just spew them out. That's exactly how it felt for me. Mental health aspect, which I know this is like where things kind of get touchy-touchy because it did help a lot of people. And again, I recognize that. I do not discredit its impact. But I just felt like it needed more fleshing out when it came to the main character sorting out their issues in the mental health lane. I knew what it was trying to do, but that doesn't mean I felt like it did it well. So with that being said, this book is leaving my collection. I hope it ends up in the hands of somebody who needs it. But unfortunately, my library is not the library for you, so I'm going to need you to check out and never return. The next one leaving the collection is 56 Days. This is a thriller that takes place during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this one took some time for me to realize that I didn't like it. Because when I first came out of it, I was like, dang, that's a book. Literally, it's a book. Look at it. No, I was like, that was a good book. We love a good book. I just had those initial thoughts where I was like, this is really good. I really loved this. I really enjoyed this book. But then my thoughts hit that kind of marination stage, and the realization began to sink in, and the anchor landed, and I realized it wasn't all that. I'm just glad I didn't post a review right out of the bat, because I feel like I would have been like, this book was so good, I loved it, yeah, everybody read it. This book blew my brains out, boys and girls. And it did, in fact, not blow my brains out. In fact, my brains are still intact. Thank you, Jesus. Sometimes books take me a longer time to process in terms of my thoughts on them. I just like to sit on things and like really think about them, because it's easy to like come out of a book and just have those initial thoughts being like, yeah, that was so good. But then like the more that you think about it, the more that you kind of like are processing the story, you pick up on different things and you're just like, well, wait a minute. Was that really all that and a bag of candy? No. And this one had me in that initial love sector, but then I was kind of swayed into a whole different stage. One that's like 2 steps down from love. It's not hate, it's indifference. I think a big part of this one can be blamed on like the description and the marketing for this book, because it kind of gives everything away. Like when you read the description, that's pretty much the story. And there's not much left to be surprised by. You know what's going to happen. There are a few like twisty, turny moments in the book, but never enough to do much for me. The writing style is another thing that like I didn't realize in the moment I didn't like until after the fact, and I was like, that was kind of a dry writing style, wasn't it? It didn't captivate me or even give me this like eerie feeling that I felt like the book needed. And maybe that's on me because I wanted more of a haunting depiction of this like murder that took place. Also, the ending was just like so dull. I really felt like more work could have been put into the ending and fleshed out a little bit more. But overall, not for me. Unfortunately, it's leaving. Goodbye. See you later. Sayonara. Now, the last 2 books are books that I DNF'd after getting a portion of the way through them. I'm trying to be better at DNFing, but it's still really freaking hard for me not to give a book a 100% 1% chance. But I'm trying to follow my heart, listen to my gut, and DNF. The next one leaving is Havenfall, which is upside down. Havenfall. This story surrounds an inn that connects ancient worlds. It's like a hub, or rather a haven, between 4 different realms. Chaos ensues when a dead body is found near the inn. A place that was meant to be safe is now more dangerous than ever. I did not fall for Havenfall. I had a lot of y'all in my comments being like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Not worth, not worth. Stop, drop, and chuck the book. Put it down and turn around. But I'm a stubborn boy. So I picked up this book and began reading. I got around 75 pages into this one before I decided that I'm gonna pack my bags and move on. I will not be staying at Havenfall. And that's when I realized that y'all were right. Maybe I should have listened to you. Maybe I should have taken your advice, but I did not. I'm sorry. I personally was not a fan of the way that the world building was kind of played out. It just kind of felt familiar and wasn't really like bringing anything new to the table. And like, listen, I am the captain of the basic team. I'm the president of the basic club. I am king of the basic boys. But it was even too basic for my liking. Add on top of that tropes that weren't executed well, and characters that I felt nothing for. All those things had me closing the book and deciding that it just wasn't for me. Goodbye. Unfortunate, unfortunate, unfortunate. The last book I'm getting rid of is The Music Shop, which I just realized this has a bookstore on it. You know what? I got it in Branson, Missouri. I don't live near Branson. It's fine. Book Warehouse. I actually don't even know if it's still a bookstore. It might have gone out of business. I don't remember. Anyway, this story follows Frank, who owns a music shop. One day he meets a customer who will have him facing his past. I got around the 150 page mark and I just couldn't do it. And here's the thing. I can't fully explain why it wasn't working for me. Because I really did like the concept and kind of the way things were kind of building up. I loved the atmosphere of the music store. I would love to read another book that like is set in that kind of same setting. But I think there was just like something maybe about like the writing style that irked me. I know that there were moments with the dialogue that just like really irked me and just like really didn't flow well in my opinion. But I almost want to paint this book as just like wrong place, wrong time, wrong read, wrong time. You know what I mean? Like maybe if I were to have read this like a few years back or a few years later even, maybe I would enjoy it. But like at this current time, it's just not for me. And I recognize that fact and I'm going to pass it along to somebody else who might enjoy it. Those are several books that I have decided to yeet off my bookshelf. I'm not actually going to yeet them. I'm going to gently take them and get rid of them. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them, if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. I love hearing opposing opinions, so long as they're respectful, obviously. Let me know your thoughts on them down below in the comments. But if you have not read any of these books, let me know down below in the comments if you have done any spring book cleaning where you've gotten rid of some books and what those books are. Any spicy ones, any wrong read, wrong time books, let me know down below in the comments. Again, thank you to PANGOBOOKS for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to go and download the app and use the code Jesse5 to get $5 off your order. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye. You sell some books and you can turn right around and I'm getting dizzy. If you watched my vlog, then I just called my vlog a blog. Somebody cancel me!